meaningful games in November. Coaches and athletes, they wouldn't want it any other way. And we are 1 week closer to a conference championship. 4 teams still in contention. The stakes and pressures are high, and we will give you the lowdown on everything that you need to know headed in to Week 12. Hello and welcome inside the American Studios. I'm your host, Morgan Huber, for a brand new episode of All American. We will be breaking down all of the biggest matchups, giving you everything you need to know. Plus, Makhi Hughes, running back for Tulane, the conference's leading rusher, doing something no other running back in Tulane history has done. He will be joining the show coming up. But first, let's take a look at these conference standings, as basically everything right now is as clear as mud. We've got Tulane at number 24 in the CFP rankings, SMU and UTSA. A three-way tie still intact for first place. Memphis 1 game back, currently at 5-1. South Florida, Navy, and Florida Atlantic all sitting at 3-3. But the Bulls, they're 5-5 overall, looking for bowl eligibility, which is certainly still in reach for these teams. SMU and Memphis, they're going to meet here this weekend. So with a Mustangs win, mathematically, that would eliminate Memphis from this conversation with 2 conference losses. In Week 13, UTSA Tulane, the game that we've all had circled on our calendars. The winner of that game will make it to the conference championship. For Memphis, of course, they have SMU this weekend, and then they're at Temple. That game will be played on Black Friday, along with the Green Wave and Roadrunners game on ABC. And with that, let's get into all of this and welcome in our college football analyst, Taylor McHargue. Taylor, we've got an exciting 2-week stretch. What is it that intrigues you most?
Look, I think every one of these coaching staffs for those 4 teams that are still in contention, they're saying the same things to their teams this week. Hey, win out and you control your own destiny for 3 out of these 4 teams. And if you're Memphis, all you can do is try and win your last 2, hope things fall into place around you. But that's the message. Control what you can control, win these last 2, and put yourself in a position to either get in the conference championship or for some of these teams potentially host the conference championship.
The most important matchup in Week 12, it's SMU at Memphis, and break out the sledgehammers because this one is going to be a battle. If it's anything like we've seen the last 3 years from this team, buckle up because it's just been decided by 3 points. Look at these 2 teams. They're literally in sync here, and they will be looking to battle it out on the field. As we love seeing the great locker room celebrations that our teams have. And for Rhett Lashley, he's looking to change a trend. Over the last meetings for these 2 teams, they have not been able to win at the Liberty Bowl. What's it going to take from the Mustangs in order to rewrite history and change this streak here?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for SMU, we've seen them dominate sort of the lower half of this conference over the last 6 weeks. Really, the only game that was close was against Rice when Preston Stone went down. I think the key against Memphis is going to be running the football. That side of the defense for Memphis a week ago, Morgan, we saw them against Charlotte, really struggled, gave up over 200 yards on the ground to that Charlotte offense, and I think that's going to be the critical piece. If SMU can wear down Memphis running the football, play a little more ball control and win time of possession, while also we know they can hit the explosive plays over the top. And I think that's what's critical for SMU. And on the other side, it sounds simple, but for Memphis, they had 4 turnovers a week ago, 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles against Charlotte. They're going to have to clean that up to have a chance to win against SMU this week.
Forsyth Hennigan, I mean, we saw the clutch gene in person. I've seen it now 2 times in person this year, once at North Texas, scoring the game-winning touchdown with less than a minute to go, and then we saw the overtime victory for the Tigers coming back. They've been trailing basically the entire game. Taylor, when you look at this matchup, who are you taking? Is it Hennigan's accuracy of decision-making or SMU's secondary?
Yeah, I'm going with SMU in this game, and I think Jalen Knighton, running back, he'd had some decent performances in the first part of the season, but last week against North Texas exploded for well over 100 yards on the ground. And I think the guy that I would look at on the other side for Memphis to potentially slow him down is Chandler Martin, the transfer linebacker that's come in, their leading tackler. He's been so good for them. That one-on-one matchup, you're going to slow down Jalen Knighton. Chandler Martin is the guy that's going to have to answer the bell there. But overall, I think it's too much to ask from Memphis to try and slow down this offense for SMU. They're playing really solid football. Again, the only real close game they've had in the last 6 weeks was against Rice on the road. So I like SMU to win this game.
Chandler Martin for the Tigers. He graduated high school at age 16. He told me he puts no limits or goals on himself, and he's looking to come up with a big one to keep his team in championship hopes alive for the Memphis Tigers. You made your pick. You're taking the Mustangs in this one. This time of year, Taylor, consistency is key, including the locker room celebrations, and head coach Willie Fritz and the Tulane Green Wave, well, he continues to hang loose and surf the Green Wave after every win as they look to go 1-0 and keep things rolling in Boca Raton this weekend as Tulane heads to Florida Atlantic, and they haven't been dominant or put teams away. We talk about this nearly every week. Look at these last 4 games. They've all been one-score victories for Tulane. All 4 of these teams also coming from the bottom half of the conference. North Texas, just a touchdown. At Rice, a 2-point win. At East Carolina, just winning by a field goal, and then most recently a 2-point win at home over Tulsa. Let's hear from the head coach, Willie Fritz, on his status and his view of his team right now. Take a listen.
Still feel like we haven't played our best game yet. We want to improve and get better. It's no doubt about it. And we want to be one of those teams that's ascending at the end of the year and not descending, which probably 90% of the teams in America are not. They don't get better week after week. They get a little worse. We want to get better, and we want to keep improving and learn our lessons from W's. That's always a good thing.
Taylor, your assessment, ascending or descending? Where are the Green Wave right now?
Yeah, look, Coach Fritz isn't going to make the excuse right now, but they're banged up. They've lost critical pieces. They went last week against Tulsa with down 4 starters, lost a couple pieces in game as well. And I think especially on the offensive side, they are missing some of that production. And Michael Pratt right now doing everything he can to try and will this team to victory, and they're doing a nice job of it. But they're escaping right now. Last week against Tulsa, they come out, have a kick return for a touchdown. Outside of that production, just 3 points in the second half. And as an offense, just scored 17 points as a unit total against Tulsa. And so looking forward this week to FAU. This is a game on the road. FAU loses last week to East Carolina. You just wonder at some point if they don't figure it out in these last 2 games, if they can't figure out a way to put teams away, do they end up losing to a team like FAU, who they're far more talented than? And then obviously there's the showdown next week versus UTSA, where it's going to be a clash on Friday, on that Black Friday. But right now it just feels like Tulane, they lack that explosive ability on the offensive side of the ball, and they're just escaping late in games.
As if quarterback Michael Pratt needed any more pressure. This is a homecoming game for him. He's going to have plenty of family and friends in the stands. And for Florida Atlantic and Tom Herman, they're going to be looking to pull off an upset, Taylor. For them to come out and win this game, the biggest thing that the Owls are going to have to do is what?
They got to get after Michael Pratt. They've got to make him uncomfortable. We talked about how that offense has struggled some. What you saw also on the other side for FAU, East Carolina did a fantastic job of slowing down their ability to run the football. Less than 50 total yards rushing the ball is what FAU had a week ago. But the critical piece for FAU is not so much on their offensive side, but it's on the defensive side. You want to try and muddy this game up, make it ugly, keep this to a 1-score game. If you can create a turnover or 2, that'd be great, but Tulane, not typically a team that turns the ball over. And we've seen, like we talked about, these games tend to be close late in the game. If you're FAU, you're just asking for a chance to have a drive late in the game to go down and either kick a field goal or score a touchdown and win the game.
The Green Wave are looking for 10 straight road wins, which would be the second longest active streak in the country, only behind the #1 team in the country, Georgia. So that would be pretty impressive. And Taylor, another team with a pretty great streak, the UTSA Roadrunners. This is a team that has won 16 straight against conference opponents. The latest, a 34-14 win over Rice, with quarterback Frank Harris and this offense exploding in the third quarter with 21 points. They host South Florida this weekend. It will be the final game for Harris inside the Alamo Dome that he is guaranteed. And what we do know about South Florida and Alex Golesh, they put up a lot of offense. They run a lot of plays, more than any other team in this conference. Taylor, what do you like about the Bulls' style? What advantage maybe does their style have against this UTSA team?
Yeah, their style has the chance to be a major advantage in this game or a disadvantage. And by that, I mean the tempo and the ability to get on the ball quickly and run your offense. That should slow down and negate some of the pass rush that we've come to know from Trey Moore in this defensive front that gets after the quarterback. That's the positive. The downside is if UTSA gets them behind the chains and then you go 3 and out, you're putting your defense back on the ball quickly. So it's critical for South Florida to use that up tempo to their advantage, but they've got to capitalize in the red zone, stay on the field. What you don't want to have happen against this UTSA team that likes to wear you down. Look at that third quarter against Rice. That was a close game in the first half. UTSA wore down Rice in that second half. That's their style. So what you don't want, again, if you're South Florida, is to run that up-tempo offense but not capitalize or have short drives, because then you leave your defense out on the field for far too long, and that's where that fatigue comes in late in the game.
Speaking of advantages and disadvantages, I really do believe this is going to be an emotional game for Jeff Traylor, with it being Frank Harris, Rashad Wisdom's last guaranteed game inside the Alamo Dome. And with that being said, they can use it to their advantage, but, maybe the emotions might be running a little too high. With all that being said, though, Taylor, who you got in this one? Who you taking?
Yeah, this, I think, should be a good game, right? South Florida needs one more win to get to bowl eligibility. They're playing well in their first year under Alex Golesh, but UTSA is coming on strong. They've really moved past that difficult 1-3 stretch in September, and I think they obviously know what's ahead of them. They've played championship football the last 2 seasons out of Conference USA. They know what's ahead of them, especially next week against Tulane. I don't think they slip up here. I think they beat South Florida.
2 weeks remaining here in the regular season. There's still plenty of possibilities that can shake out, but what we do know, there are 4 teams with 2 spots in that championship game: SMU, UTSA, Tulane, or Memphis. So when it's all said and done, December 2nd, Taylor, where are we going to be and who's going to be playing in that game?
Yeah, the way that things are shaking out right now, I actually think UTSA wins this week. I think they have a really good chance of winning next week at Tulane. And I think it's going to come down to SMU and UTSA, and where that game ends up being hosted will come down to the computers. I don't think we know the answer to that just yet. But the way that Tulane is playing, I think if they don't get some of these things corrected, would not surprise me to see UTSA go to New Orleans and get a win on the road. And then how amazing would that be if UTSA, their first year in this conference, getting a chance to host a conference championship potentially in the Alamo Dome.
For Tulane, Lawrence Keys, Jaquan Jackson, 2 of their 3 top receivers, they're questionable for Saturday. Coach Fritz says he hopes he can get them back, but certainly injuries have been a key part to the Green Wave season here down the stretch. A lot of teams banged up right now. That's sort of the par for the course at this time in the college football season. And we still have a number of other matchups here that we have not yet talked about happening in Week 12, one of those being East Carolina at Navy. The Pirates coming off their first conference win of this season. Rice at Charlotte. These 2 teams looking to play tough football here down the stretch. North Texas at Tulsa, 2 teams that have also been struggling here as of late. And finally, Temple at UAB. Taylor, of all of these games here, which ones stand out to you? What are you intrigued by here?
Yeah, I just go down in when you get to this part of the season, which teams are still fighting for bowl eligibility. We already talked about South Florida needing 1 win to get there. I think Navy, with a chance at home against East Carolina, they still need 2 wins, and that game against Army late in the season does not count towards bowl eligibility. But obviously a big one there for Navy. And then for Rice, they need 2 more to close out the season with Charlotte and FAU the following week. I think that's a team that has played well in that 3-game stretch. It was a gauntlet for them. Now 2 teams that they feel like they'll be favored against it, that they should beat. Obviously circling both of those for the Owls to see if they can go back-to-back and get to bowl eligibility.
4 of those games available on ESPN+. One of the games that you're going to be on digital as well. That's Tulane at Florida Atlantic with Richard Cross and Smacker Miles. Taylor, thanks as always for joining us. We appreciate it and looking forward to hearing you on the call this weekend.
Awesome. Thanks, Morgan.
Gotta get it. You gotta get it. Hands it off, trying to get to the edge, and Hughes does so. Touchdown, Greenway. Churning the legs. There he goes. Makhi Hughes.
A very selfless play by the running back. Probably could have gotten a couple more yards.
Makhi Hughes, remember the name. The former Tulane running back Tajay Spears weighed in with a please, and that's right. Hughes already has 1,000 yards with just 2 weeks remaining now here in the season. And by the way, becoming the very first freshman running back in Tulane history to reach that milestone. And Makhi joins us here right now in the American studios. Makhi, first off, thanks so much for joining us. You had a quote tweet also of that graphic saying, #it's a team thing. What is it about the individual pieces around you that's allowed you to be so successful this season?
Yeah, I put that quote because not just me individual, but it's a team thing. Receivers, O-line, we work as a unit. We work together, and without them, I won't get them yards, 1,000 yards, and gain 6 yards. Especially the O-line, them guys work so hard. Even the receivers too as well.
The biggest question mark coming into this season for Tulane was who would fill the shoes of Tyjae Spears, the Offensive Player of the Year in the conference from a year ago, moves on to the NFL. For you, what was your approach and mindset entering this season?
I'll just keep working hard, just keep moving forward. Just pray to God, even though I had a torn meniscus, my teammates, just talk to me, just lift me up, motivate me. My parents also as well. I'm just blessed, just having my teammates, my coaches, help me move, keep me motivated and keep working hard.
Last year with that season-ending injury, not being able to have that presence on the field, what were some of the things specifically that you did in order to grow your game to be ready when you got the opportunity?
Yeah, I just rehab hard, just get prepared for the next season. Also, I had Tyjae help me out with doing some drills as well to build my confidence up, and also my teammates helped me build my confidence up as well. And just keep rehabbing, just get my niche back stronger, and just keep it get 100% healthy.
How often have you talked to Tyjae here this season?
I talked to him in the first game in South Alabama. He texted me, and just the whole running back, it's our time. Let's show out, do our thing out there.
Running back you, I guess you could call it, taking the baton. I want to start with the most recent game you have against Tulsa in a 2-point game, critical situation. We just saw it there. Situational football. You go down with the slide after that 31-yard run to essentially seal the game. What'd you see on that play?
I just look at the clock, look at the sideline as well. I seen Shane, get down, and smart move, to drain down the clock. We work that in practice, so our opponents don't catch up. I think that was a smart play to drain the clock and to get the W.
How would you describe your relationship with a veteran quarterback like Michael Pratt and his decision making to put you in the best possible situations?
I'm so glad I have Michael Pratt. He's a great leader, a great hard worker. He's taught to me, he also motivated me as well. Just lift me up, he's showed leadership. Also he's passionate, he get the work done, and to have the quarterback we got, it's just a blessing to have him.
He's had his fair share of injury this season, as has your O-line. Just curious in the relationship that you have with them and the synergy, no matter who's up there, creating those holes for you. Why do you have so much trust in the guys in front of you?
You guys work so hard. We also watch film together. We call ourselves the box. Just watch film, watch opponents, yeah. And just watching the pick-up blitz, to take our quarterbacks. We just built our relationship so strong, and we just talk to each other, we have each other back, and we just keep working hard. And, we had our center, our leader, Cesare. He also is he's also a good leadership as well, and he just motivate us.
These last 4 games all coming down to 1-score games. You're winning by an average of 4 points. What is it about this team where you all find the way to win regardless of any situation?
We just think about the winning. We just to keep our mind and keep wanting to know. We just want to be smart and just drain down the clocks and just also as well, just not to keep it keep it situational about the time on the clock. So we just want to be smart with it, and then make sure we keep up the lead.
with you all being the reigning champs too. I mean, everyone brings their best shot in their best game against Tulane. 2 games to go. Florida Atlantic this week, UTSA the final weekend before you have the chance to potentially play for another American championship. What is the single biggest focus for this team right now?
Just keep, like, our mindset is 1-0, keep working, and keep moving forward. Is just keep working hard and practice, and also because you practice how you play in the game. So we just keep watching film, getting better every play, and our mindset is to keep going 1-0.
We've had you brag on your teammates a little bit of putting you in a position to have success, but what is your single best quality as a running back?
Me just keep working, make sure I have my teammates also motivate me, but me as well, just lift myself up, just keep moving forward, keep positive, just humble, just also always have a team, always help my teammates, to win the game.
Well, Makhi, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Really appreciate it, and best of luck here these next 2 weeks.
All right, thank you.
You're now rocking with the best.
Carla Brito is so much fun to watch.
And confidence is building.
And it's blocked by Aaron Scott.
Each and every week we take a look at the top performances around the American, and this week we have our first edition of Hoops, looking at our players and freshmen of the week. North Texas junior Aaron Scott earned the first men's basketball player of the week for this season and the first of his 3-year career. He led the Mean Green to a pair of victories, averaging a league-best 22 points per game. He scored a career-high 26 points in the season-opening win over Northern Iowa and followed that up with a game-high 18 points in a win over Omaha. The women's basketball player of the week was awarded to Tulsa guard Delaney Crawford. The junior opened the season scoring 35 points and grabbing 9 rebounds in a Golden Hurricane win over Lindenwood. Crawford then ended the week with a 22-point performance against New Orleans. The men's freshman of the week went to South Florida's Jaden Reed. The guard nearly recorded a triple-double with 11 points, 10 assists, and 8 rebounds in the Bulls' season-opening win over South Carolina State. And finally, East Carolina's Karina Gordon earned the Freshman of the Week honors. She averaged 10 points per game for the Pirates in a pair of wins to open the season. She ended the week with an 11-point outing on 4 of 5 shooting, adding 3 steals and 3 assists in the win over USC Upstate. It's postseason time in American soccer. We've got 5 teams competing combined, 4 on the men's side, 1 on the women's side. All of those matches happening this weekend between Thursday and Sunday. For the full schedule, you can visit our website, theamerican.org. And in American volleyball, 1 week remaining in the regular season. Things are heating up. 3 matches remain for all of our teams. And finally, hoops just getting started. 28 American teams underway here with games all happening this weekend. Many of those available on ESPN+. And Florida Atlantic on the men's side pacing the field at number 10 in the country. Speaking of hoops, we've got our first action from the hardwood men's and women's basketball plays making our top plays this week. But first we start on the gridiron with a play that went the distance and made the difference. Tulsa at Tulane. The Green Wave had been looking for faster starts out of halftime. Well, here we go. Shedro Lewis finds a hole up the middle, makes one miss, and takes it up the sideline. The 30, the 20, the 10, and a photo finish to find the end zone. Lewis taking it the distance, 100 yards to the house. His team loving it. What a touchdown. And head coach Willie Fritz, he likes the look of that too, as Tulane wins by 2. Coming in at number 4, our first women's hoops play of the season, Florida Atlantic at Mercer. Inbounded to Anaya Hubbard, who uses just one hand for an impressive fadeaway. So smooth as Hubbard tied her career best, 28 points. Staying on the hardwood at number 3, we've got Memphis at Missouri. The Tigers versus the Tigers. This ball tipped around, but Memphis comes away with it. Javon Quinterly in transition with the bounce pass to David Jones. Textbook transition game. from the Tigers. Memphis finds a second-half surge to win it in Como, 70-55. At number 2, we've got action from the American Men's Soccer Championship, Charlotte at SMU. The Mustangs undefeated at home this season. A set-piece opportunity to take the lead, and Brandon Morales with a laser. This ball batted out, off of bounce, and Morales drills it to the top left corner to be the eventual game winner. And the 49ers never trailed in this match against the number 2 team in the nation. And Charlotte went on to lift the trophy for their first American crown. And our top play, the season opener for South Florida men's basketball hosting South Carolina State, Sam Hines Jr. makes a statement. He says, hang this poster in the Yuengling Center. Wow, they call him the king of little things, but how about the king of big-time dunks? We hope to see much more action like that on the hardwood all season long. And remember, if you ever see a great play happen live, you can always let us know on social media using the hashtag #AmericanTopPlays, and let us know on social media at American_Conf. Enjoy the start of the basketball season, postseason soccer, and what will be a pivotal 2 weeks here in American football coming up. And this does it for our final episode of All-American this fall. In our season of gratitude, we're extremely grateful for all of you tuning in every single week. For my analyst, Taylor McHargue, our producer, Zach Fisher, executive producer, Matt Sizik, it's not so long, but see you later.